All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to your NFL. What are we in? Week 5 predictions. Man,
Yeah.
season's going by quick. Season's going by quick. It's hard to believe NFL's in Week 5. College football's going into Week 6. So season's going by fast. Enjoy it while you can. As always, help me predict these games. Who we think's going to win? Who's going to lose? As always, stat guy Dustin Reese. What's up, man?
I guess the Bears are not the worst team in the
Hey,
NFL.
look at
least
that.
not on Thursdays. They're not.
Hey, 1-0. Hey, they got their first one. Almost took them a year, but they got it. And Jay McClellan, what's up, brother?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. I fully expect to be feeling sad on Sunday after my Cowboys game, but we'll see.
We will get to that in just a second.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that in a second.
If you like the show, everyone, follow us on social media. Easiest way to do so is our Linktree. Description of all these episodes. Once again, Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, and on Twitch. You can see it on the screen there. So go check us out. Give us a like and tell us what you think. Who's going to win these ball games?
Jay, I do have a 911 on speed dial for you for when the Astros and the Cowboys lose the same week. I'm gonna have to do a welfare check on you,
Bro, you don't even know, man. After this fantasy week and what I expect to have happen with the Cowboys, it's going to be the only thing that's going to make me feel good is the fact that the Astros are going to advance to the next level of the World Series Cup.
And if you want to see all of our predictions for the postseason, you like how I tie these in, fellas. We just did a video about the MLB playoffs, so go and check that out and see who we think's moving on and who is going home. All right, first one, once again, early start because the Jaguars in their second home there in London going to be taking on the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be an early start here. Dustin, give us your thoughts. Who's winning?
Jacksonville does have the advantage in this just because they didn't have to travel from London last week. They were the first team ever that was not only given 2 London games in the same year, but 2 London games in back-to-back weeks. So they got to enjoy one 8.5, 9-hour flight to London, sit there for 10 days before we get to take that next 9-hour flight back home. So they're not going to have to worry about the jet lag. They're not going to have to worry about any of that stuff. They play there every single year. They know the environment. They know the process. They know that they're playing at 4 in the afternoon in London, which is basically 9:30 in the morning in Buffalo time. So that's going to be a very early game for Buffalo to get used to. I do think Buffalo's going to win, though. They are miles above the better team right now. Jacksonville just looks a little bit lost compared to kind of how they finished that season last year. And I don't know if it's because people overlooked them last season and kind of let Jacksonville sneak up on them, and now this year they're not going to let that happen. They're kind of more ready for it. But Buffalo showed a lot last week against Miami. They showed that they're still one of the best teams in the AFC. They showed that they still should be considered one of the favorites to come out of the AFC. I do think they're going to sleepwalk a little bit through that first half, though, just kind of getting used to that London environment. But I think Buffalo will come out strong the second half and win 27-20.
All right, Jay, who's winning this one?
Man, I'm almost close to what Tag I said. Yeah, I got Bills taking it. Obviously, my score is actually 27-13 in favor of the Bills. Honestly, look, the Bills have the better quarterback. They have the better defense. They have the better wide receivers. Honestly, the one category they have the better coach. I think Peterson is a damn good coach, though. Obviously, if I had to give an edge to the Jags, it would be in the run side of it because I think they have a good running game, obviously. And I also think that they do have a better coach. I think Peterson is just a phenomenal coach over there. But yeah, Lawrence has got 2 interceptions. Allen has 4 interceptions. That's the only downside. But when you look at touchdowns, easily 9-4 in favor of Allen. I don't know what Allen's problem is. Allen needs to stop throwing these damn interceptions. He's a much better quarterback than this, honestly.
He's Brett Favre. He's like the
reincarnation
version of Brett Favre. That's what he is.
But no, and they also have the Bills have the better wide receivers, obviously. So,
Right.
It's 400 to 337 in favor of the Bills in terms of offensive yardage, and then the defense is 312 to 344. So they just a slight little bit better than the Jags on that. But I think that Kirk versus Diggs wide receivers going at it is a joke. It's just Diggs is way better. Zay Flowers may not play. He's questionable. I think the Bills are just going to trounce all over the Jaguars, man. 27-13.
Final score in this one for me, give me Buffalo winning 30-23. Final thoughts? I think that Buffalo's got a great team. Jacksonville, they do have the advantage of not having to move anywhere, but I just think Buffalo, all in all, is a little bit better. All right, AFC South showdown, Titans, Colts. Jay McLovin, you're up bat. Who's winning this one?
Yeah, I've been going back and forth on this game. I had the Colts winning it. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's 21-14 in favor of the Colts. Tannehill, he has a lot of picks this year, more picks than touchdowns, to be honest with you. He's got four interceptions and only 2 touchdowns. So that tells you that Derrick Henry is going to be getting the brunt of the workload over there. I think 66, 280 for Moss have been outrunning Derrick Henry, which is crazy to me, but that's the truth of it. Because I think Derrick Henry has 73 rushes for 285. So Moss is getting better production, more yards per carry, obviously. So with that being said, the Colts average more yards? I think 335 to 308. So yeah, man, I think you're going to get a lot of Henry, but I think the Titans or the Colts are a little bit more complete than what the Titans are, and for that reason, I got it 21-14 in favor of the Colts.
All right, Dustin.
There was a time this offseason when a lot of people thought the Titans were the worst team in the AFC South. But then Mike Vrabel kind of shows you how good of a coach he actually is, because the Titans are actually playing really well right now. And that is with Derrick Henry looking like a shell of himself at this point. And I said this last year when Derrick Henry got hurt and ended up needing that foot surgery, that could be the beginning of the end of his career. When you are as big of a running back as he is, when you are being used as much as he's been used in the past, any sort of a foot injury where you need a metal plate put in your foot, you're not going to have the same explosiveness. You're not going to have the same quickness. You're not going to have the same speed you once had. So now this 6'2", 260-pound freak of nature that could run a 4.5 40 and outrun most wide receivers is now just a 6'2", 260-pound bowling ball that doesn't have that same quickness. He's not even averaging 4 yards a carry this year. He's a guy that typically averages 5.2 yards per carry. And he is just not the same player he was the last couple of years, and that's kind of a concern for Tennessee because Ryan Tannehill is not going to be the guy that can carry him. He's just not. The Tennessee defense, on the other hand, can carry them because their defense has looked outstanding through 4 games, and that's the main reason why they've gotten off to a better start than I thought they did. And because of their defense alone, I think Anthony Richardson is going to be in trouble this week. Yes, Anthony Richardson's legs are going to be an X factor, but I expect him to be on the run a lot because he's going to be blitzed heavily in this game. I think Tennessee wins it 21-13 just because I just can't see Anthony Richardson beating the Titans if he's going to be scrambling as much as I think he could be.
Yeah, this one could be kind of a toss-up, I think. I mean, I'm going to go with the Colts in this one, I feel. But I'm going to go I'll go kind of a lower scoring game. Give me the Colts 21 and give me the Titans 17. Lower scoring game, but I think Indianapolis pulls it out in the end. All right, Jay, you get the main event on this one. Dustin, you're up first. Cowboys, 49ers. Who's taking it?
Well, this is the game of the week, without question. It's 2 of the 3 best teams in the NFC, in my opinion. Dallas's only loss came to Arizona, and I think it was one of those games where they honestly overlooked the Cardinals, knowing how bad the Cardinals looked those first 2 weeks, and they're like, oh, we're just going to come in here and run all over them, and all of a sudden the Cardinals kind of showed up and actually beat the Cowboys at their own game a little bit. You have the 49ers, who still have not lost a game with Brock Purdy as their quarterback, which figure that one out. You had a guy in Jimmy Garoppolo who you sold the farm to get. You had a guy in Trey Lance who you sold the farm to trade up and get. And yet you draft Brock Purdy with the last pick in the draft last year, and here he is 11-0 as a starter. So that just goes to show you that it doesn't necessarily matter who your quarterback is if you're put in the right system. This game is going to come down to the defense. And both of these teams have two of the best defenses in the NFL. You have the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons in that secondary. You have the 49ers with Bosa and that linebacker group. It wouldn't shock me at all if this was like a 13-10 type of game just because both defenses are going to get after you. I like San Francisco for the sole reason that it's in San Francisco. And I'm going to go 17-16.
Ooh. All right. I'll give my quick thoughts. I like San Francisco in this one. I'm with Dustin. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. They've just been on fire, just on a roll. Like you mentioned, Brock Purdy has not lost a game, and Christian McCaffrey has looked like an MVP caliber player. So for that reason, give me San Francisco winning this one, 28-21 over the Cowboys. Jay, are you guys going to pull it out? Oh no! Oh no! That was a sign.
I'm still contemplating this, even as we speak on this. Honestly, from an unbiased. Okay, I got to put my fandom aside. Fair. I'm a speak just as an unbiased person here on this. The Cowboys are going to have a great defense. They have a great defense. They are minus Trey Diggs, but Bland. If you watch him last game, Bland has stepped up big time. I knew he would. The guy had two interceptions last week, one of them which resulted into a pick six. And I tell you, he's going to need a superstar performance again this week. San Francisco just has so many weapons on that offense. It's just ridiculous. They could beat you by a myriad of different ways. You got McCaffrey who can run the ball any way he wants. He's so quick and elusive. Or you have McCaffrey who can catch the ball and kill you by catching the ball. I mean, the guy is just incredibly gifted wide receiver. I mean, it's just wide receiver / running back. I almost call him wide receiver because, quite honestly, he kind of plays like that. So he's a hybrid. Mm-hmm. And again, you have George Kittle on the tight end side of life, but then you got Debo, which is another guy that you can use like McCaffrey in a million different ways. And he can beat you in a million different ways. And then we haven't even got to Ayuk yet. I mean, there's just so many ways that this team can score. It's really damn scary. And so for that, the Cowboys have got to do two things. Number one, their cornerbacks have to play lights out against Debo and Ayuk. They just have to. Number two, I think they got to get incredible pressure from Micah Parsons on Andy Law and company, Fowler and Van Der Esch. All those guys got to put incredible pressure on Brock Purdy and not let him get comfortable thinking he can do just whatever he wants to do. It is in San Francisco, so that obviously is another thing. You're playing on their turf, right? So there's a lot of things that the Cowboys defense is going to be asked to do. This is the one time when Dak Prescott needs to put Dak Prescott aside and actually be a winning quarterback if they want to have a chance. CeeDee Lamb has to play lights out. Brandon Cooks, you got to be visible. You got to be doing some stuff, Bubba. Gallup, you got to be doing some stuff. Pollard, you need to channel the inner McCaffrey into you and put Ezekiel Elliott into him. You know what I'm saying? Like the Cowboys have to play mistake-free football. Can they do it? They haven't done it as of yet. They still struggle on some areas. And for those reasons, I do have San Francisco taking it. I think it's going to be a tight one. I don't think it's going to be tight, man. I think it's going to be – I'm going to go 28-14 in favor of San Francisco. I just think they're – unless that Cowboys defense can come out and just put on a magic show and Dak Prescott can transform into Patrick Mahomes or something, I mean, they're gonna need a lot of things because that San Francisco team, in my opinion, is the number one team in all of NFL. I think they're the most complete team.
All right, well said. Another kind of a division rivalry here with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Jay, since you just did the main event, we'll have you kick things off with this one. Steelers, Ravens, who's winning?
Yeah. And this one, I got the edge going to Baltimore Ravens. So I'm going to go Ravens in this one. I think Pickett actually is questionable for this game. I think ultimately he does wind up playing. But, he's got 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and you're going up against Jackson, who has 4 touchdowns and 1 damn interception. So I think Pickett is going to turn the ball over quite a few times in this game. I think Jackson is going to capitalize in this game. I think Najee Harris, let's put it this way, Jackson has more rushing yards than Najee Harris. Just let that sink in for a minute. It's incredible. It's incredible. Ravens have more yards, 349 to 284. So in this one, I'm going to keep it short. Ravens get the win, and I think it's going to be geez Louise, man. I'm going to go – I think they blow up this game. I think it's going to be 35-20.
All right. Also, Jay, I just checked, and this is as of 5 minutes ago, so kind of breaking news. Kenny Pickett is off the injury report and expected to start on Sunday.
Oh, there you go.
So, meanwhile, he's not going to have his tight end Pat Freiermuth. So, weapon down for that already depleted offense that is in Pittsburgh. All right, Dustin, who's winning this one, Baltimore or Pittsburgh?
23-7 Baltimore.
Yeah, I got to rock with the Ravens in this one.
Pittsburgh's looked terrible on defense this year, which is a shocker when you have a guy like TJ Watt, and their defense, especially against Houston, looked absolutely dreadful. And then you have an offense that I don't think has an identity at this point on what they want to do. You have a great receiver in George Pickens. You have Najee Harris, who was a very good running back his first 2 years in the league, but I don't even think he looks that good this year. And then you have a quarterback in Kenny Pickett, who hasn't even started a full 16 games under center yet. This will be his 16th start this weekend. He's shown flashes, but he's also shown terrible moments also. And your backup quarterback is the same way. It's Mitch Trubisky, who showed flashes in Chicago a couple times, but for the most part, he really hasn't shown much in his 5 years in the league. I think Pittsburgh's just kind of, if they did not have Mike Tomlin, they would be one of those teams competing for the number 1 pick. It's just the fact that they have Mike Tomlin and everybody plays so hard for him. There's a reason why he's never had a losing season, no matter the talent level that he has.
Yeah, it's I don't know, man. Just Pittsburgh, they just I don't know. They don't move the needle for me. They don't. I don't know. Just something about them just feels off. And their offensive struggles have been well documented, but like you mentioned, Dustin, their defense has not been great either. Which is not what you think of when you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, with that reason, got to go with the Ravens in this one. I think Lamar Jackson's going to have a good game. Give me the Ravens in this one, 32, and give me the Steelers. I'll go 14. I'll be kind of generous a little bit. Give them a couple points. Matt Canada going to do something. And we're at the Monday night game. Get a cap off Week 5 here. Packers, Raiders. I'll go ahead and give my prediction. I don't like the Raiders, Jay. I don't like them anymore. They're sad. They make me sad going into Mondays now. And now they're going to make me sad going into work on Monday and then coming into work on Tuesday after they lose. I don't know what to do. Obviously, I don't know if Jimmy Garoppolo is playing or not. He obviously didn't play last week. Not sure if that's even going to matter at the moment. Dude, I'm just so sad. I'm just upset. Give me the Packers in this one, 35, and give me the Raiders, 10. I'm just sad. Jay, go ahead. Just kill my team.
Yeah, man. This is one of those types of things where I say that Josh McDaniels just always proves that he's a great coordinator under Bill Belichick, but once he leaves the nest out of Bill Belichick, he just and just crash and burns every time. He did it in Denver. I knew he was going to do it with the Raiders, and when you guys got him, I was like, my God, that is the worst hire ever. Logan is due for some more sad, dark times out there in Raiderland. Not even being in Vegas can help you. Garoppolo, amazingly, has more interceptions than he does touchdowns. The dude's got 6 interceptions and only 5 touchdowns. His QBR has got to be in the dirt. It's probably like 20-something, maybe 14 at this point.
I don't even want to look.
It's got to be. Literally, it's got to be in the dirt. Love is going to perform well. He has been performing well in his rookie season. going 8 touchdowns and 3 picks. And he doesn't really have he's got some rookie talent over there, right? I mean, their wide receiver core is not exactly all that experienced. Watson just kind of came back to the team. Romeo Doubs has been their dude. I think Romeo Doubs is going to continue to be their dude for a hot minute. Jacobs, God, this dude held out because he thinks he deserves all this damn money, but yet he only going to give you about 2.6 yards a carry. Freaking guy's a jerk. Jacobs will play more. I just feel like, Jacobs needs to play like a star, and he's not. They need a whole lot of Devontae Adams if they want to try to win this game. Hunter Renfrow, you better go find him too. But at the end of the day, man, I'm going to go. I think the Raiders get through. I think I'm going to give them 7. Yeah, I'm going to give them 7. I'm going to give Raiders 7. Yeah, I'm going to give them at least 7. It's Vegas. I'm playing a little Vegas money. So I'm going to give them 7. And I'm going to go with the Packers. I'm going to give them 21. So I think it's going to be 21-7 Packers over the Raiders.
Dustin, before I kick to you, I was upset and looked at a stat. Nick Chubb, who has all of his legs broke, still has more rushing yards than Josh Jacobs on the year. So there we go. All right.
Dustin, I feel so bad for you, man.
Dustin, put me out of my misery. What's the final score for the Packers getting the win in this one?
24-17 Raiders.
Thank you. Well, if you've enjoyed the video,
I said Raiders.
Oh, I'm sorry. Huh?
I said.
I was like, what?
I said 24-17 Raiders.
Oh my God! What glimmer of hope do you have?
I don't trust Jordan Love as far as I can throw him.
All right.
You saw what he did against the Detroit Lions on Thursday night in practice.
And you think you trust Garoppolo?
Difference is Jimmy Garoppolo on prime time is 7-2 as a starter. Garoppolo.
He better channel every bit of that prime time.
Hey,
and who else is one of the best prime time performers in NFL history? Devontae Adams, who has 14 career touchdown passes in 10 Monday night games. Those two know how to play on prime time. Jordan Love does not know how to play on prime time. You saw it against the Lions last Thursday. Jordan Love was absolutely atrocious.
That is true.
Against the Lions last Thursday. His first primetime game was a start against the Kansas City Chiefs last year. Absolute dog crap against the Kansas City Chiefs last year, who had an absolutely terrible defense last year.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the stats this year, Packers are averaging 299 yards of offense. The Raiders are averaging 302. So the Raiders actually average slightly more yards. It's pretty much even. But as bad as the Raiders' record is, defensively, the Raiders are only allowing 330-some yards of offense. Packers are allowing 390. The Packers are 2-2 because they faced the Bears the first week of the season when the Bears were still terrible, and they are still terrible, and they beat the Saints after Derek Carr got hurt. The Packers are literally very close to being an 0-4 football team. They have not been impressive. In either one of their wins, they have not been impressive. And the 2 losses they had, the one going against the Falcons and the one against the Lions last week, had it not been for one good quarter against the Atlanta Falcons where the Packers scored 14 points, their offenses look like shit. They are not playing very well. Everyone wants to talk about Jordan Love and the 8 touchdowns and the 3 picks. Well, guess what? You had 3 touchdowns against the Bears, who have the worst secondary in the NFL. You had 3 touchdown passes against the Falcons. All 3 of the touchdown passes were under 10 yards. So it's not like you're torching these teams. Your completion percentage is 55%. That's worse than Justin Fields. You're not going to win too many games with a 55% completion percentage. I don't think Jordan Love is the answer for Green Bay, and I think Green Bay is going to find that out real quick at the end of this season. And I'm not picking Green Bay to beat the Raiders, and I'm not going to pick Green Bay to win too many games this year because their defense has always been a liability with Joe Barry. And it's always been Aaron Rodgers that has been able to bail them out. Jordan Love's not going to be able to bail this team out if they give up points.
All right. Well, Dustin, thank you for brightening my mood slightly. I appreciate that, my friend. All right. Well, hey, if you guys have enjoyed this video, like I have the final minute and a half, okay, give us a like, comment who's going to win these ball games, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. As always, Jay McLovin, Dustin Reese, it's a pleasure talking some sports with you. Once again, everyone, we appreciate you tuning in, watching us on all of our social media platforms. We'll talk to you again on another episode of Unscripted. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everyone.